Controversy creates cash, and so does brand new television deals. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. And Mr. Eric Bischoff, Mr. 83 Weeks, has broke his silence on AEW's brand new media rights deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. Bischoff knows what it's like to beat competition for 83 weeks in a row. But judging on the ratings recently, I think AEW Dynamite could be losing to NXT for 83 weeks in a row. But we're not here to bash AEW. We're actually here to listen to what Eric Bischoff has got to say. We know he's been in a little bit of a rivalry with Tony Khan. Tony Khan has outright said that AEW is a better company and has done more than WCW. He says it's going to be around longer than Nitro. So, Tony Khan's bragging. But at the end of the day, I mean, Bischoff did do something that Tony Khan never done, and that was beat WWE and beat them convincingly for, well over a year and a half.
Not only beat WWE, he beat a great WWE.
Yeah, he beat the best. Oh, alright, hold on, the mid-90s. He beat WWE when it had McMahon, right?
Aye. Yeah, it had McMahon. But WCW was still beating WWE in 98.
True, 97, 90, aye, well, let's give him credit, because... people would argue that those are the best years.
It wasn't until January 4th, 99, WCW died.
Mrs. Foley's baby boy. Screwed over Eric Bischoff. But anyway, let's see what Eric Bischoff's got to say about the brand new deal on his podcast. So the reaction to the new AEW TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. Eric said, and I quote, "I not only predicted that they would not get a deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, I suggested how many times they probably would. I've also said that it won't make any difference because the show's going to be what the show is. The deterioration of the audience is going to be what the deterioration has been. If you look at some of the information that Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics published this morning, it's right there in black and white, folks. So unless Tony takes advantage of this opportunity and reconfigures his approach to the industry, I don't look it's a win. I can't look at this any other way. It's an opportunity. The important part is now. What does Tony do with it? Does he continue the way he has been and continue to hemorrhage audience and ticket sales? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But I'm going to be happy for Tony, number one. It's got to be a big load off his back. I'm happy that after 7 months of teasing this, I'm glad it finally happened. I took the gestation period of a human to give birth almost, but I'm glad it finally happened. And now, let's see what they do with it." What he would do next if he were Tony Khan. End of quote. So, I mean, Bischoff here is, I guess, congratulating Tony Khan, but Bischoff believes that it doesn't really matter that AEW's got a brand new TV deal because nothing's going to change. The product's going to stay the same. The TV shows are going to stay the same. And the only thing that's not going to stay the same is the audience, which Bischoff pointed out is deteriorating. Every week, every month, it's getting lower and lower and lower. This new deal with Warner Bros. Discovery is for 3 years with a potential of an optional fourth. But if AEW continues in the trend that it's going in, it's going to have less viewers now in 3 years than it currently does. And this deal, by the end of it, will Warner Bros. Even want a fourth deal? Will even want a fourth year? So, I mean, Tony Khan might be getting the deal, but at the end of the day, this isn't going to magically make AEW great.
No, it's not. I mean, you can talk about the bag, but I think the cat's out the bag. Yeah, just AEW, the ratings are continuing to go down. I mean, the reality is they're getting these deals because Tony Khan's got unlimited money. There's no other reason why they would want AEW Dynamite on it. There's benefits for having the Cans on board with your TV company because they're minted. That's a fact. Would you agree with that?
I'm just not convinced if it was someone broke like Paul Heyman back in the day that they'd be, all for this deal.
Like, I think it would be better, right? Well, no, I don't think, I know. It would be better to have AEW on board, giving you money probably, with 600k views, than a company that's skint, producing 1.2 million. And I think that's the proof is in the pudding here. I mean, I look...
Would it really?
I think it would. Aye.
Why would Warner Brothers Discovery purposely want a company that's got half the amount of viewers?
Because they've got a company with half the amount of viewers and about 20 billion more money.
Yeah, but that doesn't. How does that affect Warner Brothers Discovery?
Because fucking Tony Khan's whipping out duffel bags worth of cash to give it to them.
Well, there's no proof for that, man. That's all speculation.
Speculation, man. I'm telling you.
So you think Tony Khan's paying to get this TV deal?
If people think Kevin Sullivan killed Benoit, then why can't Tony Khan give Warner Brothers a couple of bags of worth of cash?
That's why we can't get monetized. Anyway, guys, then Tony, there's no more game changer free agents that they're going to be able to bring into the equation that are really going to matter, because none of the previous ones have either. I mean, I think Mercedes has got to be one of the biggest financial miscalculations in terms of talent deals in the history of professional wrestling. The numbers have crashed since she showed up. Her stock has gone so far down, and she was a big sign. That potentially could have been a big deal, and it was the opposite. So I don't know what Tony's going to do. He got his deal. Let's see. I hope for the best. End of quote. Bischoff then hoping for the best for Tony Khan, but I don't think he believes that we're going to get anything good for Tony Khan. Mentioned the fact that there's no more stars to sign in wrestling, and this is something that we've talked about quite a lot. You look at AEW, when it first started, you felt like there was names out there. You felt like there was game changers out there. There was realistic people that they could sign, and they've signed a lot of them. They've signed Sting. They've signed Jericho. They've signed Edge, Christian. They signed CM Punk, who we didn't think would come back to wrestling, and they managed to get him. But since then, you know, it's kind of dried up. The stars of, you know, the previous era have got older. That's 5 years since AEW started. So everybody that we looked at who AEW could potentially bring in 2019, all those guys are now 5 years older. And guess what? When AEW started in 2019, they were already old. So Bischoff's right here. The game changers are drying up. There's not that many left. Somebody that I think AEW should have went after, probably Goldberg. When he fell out with WWE, when he never got his retirement match, there was a period where Hogan wasn't doing anything with WWE. Maybe they should have reached out to Hogan, but instead Tony Khan says that Hogan would never be welcomed and he would be banned forever with AEW. And how's that worked out for Tony Khan? Not very well. But one thing I will disagree with about Eric Bischoff is he single-handedly, you know, pointed out Mercedes Mone, and I think that's harsh because she came in around the exact same period as Okada and Ospreay, and I just can't sit here and let anyone tell me that she has been a bigger flop than those two. To me, they've all equally been. Okada for me is the worst. I mean, at least when Mercedes Mone came in, there was a little bit of hype around the first couple of weeks. Her opening quarter on Dynamite got over 1 million views. Her debut video that they uploaded to their YouTube channel got over 1 million views. What the hell has Okada ever got in terms of views? What has Okada ever done? Last two shows, Collision and Dynamite, he's main evented them both, and the main event has by far been the lowest number in the quarters. Okada for me fucking sucks. Guy can't even. We can laugh about Mercedes Mone and her crap promos. I mean, at least she can half speak the English language. I mean, Okada, shut up, bitches. I mean, that's worth $5 million a year? I think not.
No, it's not worth $5 million. Could it just be that Bischoff forgot about him? It'd be easy to forget about it.
You know what? It's probably more of a case of Mercedes Mone said something about Bischoff in the past, because she does talk about white rich men and all this stuff that try and hold a young black woman down. So maybe it's just a wee personal rivalry they've got, and he'd rather, you know, name drop her than Ospreay or Okada, like. But I mean, they're all on $5 million reportedly, and for me, Okada earns it the least.
Yeah, I mean, as for the no more game changers, free agents, hype, all that, it's true. Wrestling's just not created any new stars. Like, you talk about game changers, right? They already had Cody Rhodes at AEW. What could they honestly do him second time around? Nothing, right? Roman Reigns. Say Roman Reigns went to AEW. Would that honestly change, like, the landscape of professional wrestling?
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be Roman Reigns.
It'd be Joe and Noah. And Joe with Danny Noah.
Joe, nobody knows her.
No, see when Tony Khan doesn't want to hire the biggest star in fucking wrestling, Hulk Hogan. You're already digging yourself an early grave there.
I think we've just seen Tony Khan bring in pretty much everybody he possibly could, and it's just not worked.
Yeah, it's like see Bobby Lashley 5-10 years ago, maybe, but I mean Bobby Lashley's stock is at the fucking lowest it's ever been. Shelton Benjamin's is fucking. I mean, I don't think there's any stock to be counted.
Ain't no seeing me, no.
An MVP's just a cripple.
Yep, so...
It feels like he's just hired those three because they all had a bit of beef with Triple H. Because we're black.
Yeah, maybe I'll let the MVP cut racist promos or something.
No. Potentially, but... man. I agree with Bischoff, but... I do feel like... I think Bischoff does drink a bit of the WWE Kool-Aid. He's got
those royalty checks, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want them to dry up.
I don't think anything Bischoff says about AEW is wrong, but he doesn't seem to be anywhere near negative about WWE these days.
I think half our subscribers are getting the WWE paychecks, to be honest.
Maybe.
The royalty checks.
But do you know what I mean, though?
No, I get what you're saying.
Bischoff's completely right. I'm never going to disagree with anything he says about AEW, but he seems to be very quiet when it comes to WWE.
Here. I gave CM Punk Drew McIntyre. What a match. Honestly, great match. I wouldn't call it a classic, but one of the best matches we've seen in years. No doubt about it. But let's be honest. WWE can be equally as bad as WWE can be shit.
Aye.
But nobody calls it out. Whether it be Bischoff, whether it be Bully Ray, whether it be, Tommy Dreamer. All these guys, I've noticed all these guys...
Busted Open Radio.
Why doesn't Tony Khan just say, look, I'll pay you guys to say nice things about my company and bash WWE?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Tony Khan's got the money to blow those royalty checks out the window.
I know.
Anyway, guys, that's it. We'll catch you in the next one. This deal will keep AEW in the game for another 3 years.